Sawicki Speed is synonymous with freedom. When you fire up your favorite ride, you know you're about to partake in an unparalleled adventure. The added power, that badass look, and nothing beats that sound. Sawicki Speed's 2-in-1 performance systems are rattling the foundation of an entire aftermarket industry. It's the quality, attention to detail, made in the U.S.A. and backed by our lifetime warranty, which sets us apart. But how do we create such gorgeous works of art? Can handcrafted manufacturing really deliver that much consistency? Where does that extra horsepower and torque come from? And what about that signature growl? Seriously, what goes into these awesome pipes? Well, lean back and throttle down as we follow the life of pipe. It all starts here in Denver, North Carolina. Recently acquired by Sawicki Speed's parent company, ProtoTitan, this 30,000 square foot facility is home to manufacturing and fabrication. But it wasn't always this glamorous.
We didn't really even have a building that we were working out of. It was Chris's home office. I had a fab shop in my garage at my house that I was working out of at the time. And we were getting pre-bent pipes and just copying them and making fixtures so we could just reproduce them. Now that we got our own capability to make everything in-house, it's completely different.
Stored on these large racks, you will find the raw pipes, just waiting to be called up to the show.
Starts as a stick of pipe, whether it's 1 3/4, 7/8, or 2-inch. Starts as a 20-foot stick.
These 304 stainless steel pipes are delivered to us in bundles. From there, the raw steel is moved to the saw, where they are chopped down to specific sizes depending on final use. At this point, the merges, primaries, and mufflers go on slightly separate journeys. The merges or collectors are essential to creating our 2-in-1 systems. It is the key piece that merges the two primaries into a single exhaust. Here is where the merges are cut to precisely fit together. The edges will need to be refined a bit. The primaries are off to bending. This machine bends the primaries into shape, adhering to measurements provided by engineering to fit different bike makes and models. Let's take a second to speak to that real quick. One of Sawicki's greatest assets, which came along with the ProtoTitan acquisition, is their team of engineers. 3D scans are made of individual bike models, which are then brought into CAD and SolidWorks. In a 3D workspace, the engineers are free to design new pipes or improve existing designs.
And that really helps us to keep a data point, so we have all this data right at our fingertips, whether it's tweaking stuff or wanting to just make changes that people are recommending to us. Doesn't really matter what it is, it's so much easier to do it on the fly in the computer.
When a 3D model accurately fits digitally, it is time to make this creation a reality. But before we go cutting and bending a bunch of steel, let's 3D print it first. 3D printers knock out precise replicas of what the finished pipe will look like and how it will fit.
Of course, it always works in the computer, and then there's a point where we have to go and actually do it on the bike. We make our small tweaks here and there, go back to the computer, touch everything up. It's a lot easier and more proper. It's what everybody's doing in 2025, and it makes us a current company as far as technology is concerned.
This is the extra mile we go to ensure consistency when it is time to produce the finished product. Engineering set up manufacturing to succeed with tolerances of 30 thousandths or better. Accuracy, precision, consistency. It's what we do. Back on the floor, our pipes move on to tube brushing. Sawicki pipes have a unique look, and it is all done by hand. All pieces are then put into these washers, kind of like a dishwasher. This step ensures that gunk and grime are removed before heading to assembly. We are now en route to the other side of the building, moving past this high-tech laser cutter. We use the laser to cut our brackets out of giant sheets of metal. Here we are in the assembly and welding area. Let's rejoin our primaries first. The edges of our pipes are still a little rough, so they will need to be properly trimmed and ground. This allows for a perfect fit. We will also need to enlarge the diameter of the pipe to meet specifications. This can either be tapered or straight fit. Here at the mill, we will need to drill the holes for the O2 sensors. After the holes are drilled, the O2 sensor bungs will need welded onto the pipes, on to form ends. Bumping and forming is how we shape the inlets, merges, and more. It's a metal shaping process. In order to hold the two primaries and the exhaust together, we use these springs. Notice the high-temperature silicone sleeve to eliminate scratching of the pipe. Spring tabs are welded onto the merge collector, so the springs can hold it firm to the primaries. This step will happen to both the primaries and the muffler, but that can't happen to the muffler before the exhaust and merges are welded together. Things are starting to come together now. We are always going above and beyond to create the best-looking pipe out there. Now it's time to insert the baffle into the cannon. We go to great lengths to ensure we produce the most power out of our system. Our parent company, ProtoTitan, has spent years in the automotive market specializing in achieving the highest levels of production and performance. It is this experience that is taking Sawicki Speed to the next level. More horses, more torque, it is all right there. It is how we are dropping the hammer on the competition. And it is right there in the name, as we weld that badge on our premium exhaust system. Now that this batch is complete, they are ready to head to shipping. Packing each carefully to prepare for transit is one of the last steps in the process. And now we wait for the mail service to come pick them up. But none of this would be possible without the efforts and pride of our employees.
The weld really comes down to the welders. We got the best welders in the area, hands down. And it takes a people and a process. As long as the people are the best and the process stays the same, you are going to be able to hammer these things out. It's easy to build one. It gets hard when you want to build 10 of them. It gets harder when you want to build 1,000. So being able to repeat what you're doing is the most important thing. And it's not everybody can do it. That's what we excel at. People and the processes got to be consistent every time.
There you have it. Bespoke, handcrafted consistency. Enhanced performance. A sound like no other. A lifetime warranty. And made in the USA. Out the door and on its way to your local dealership or directly to your front door. Now put down that phone, turn off that TV, and go earn some miles. Until next time, stay louder together, y'all. For more information or to upgrade your ride today, visit sawickispeed.com. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications.